I'm here with Overdue Bobcat 50 as always. I mean,
Yeah.
we got a lot of news to talk about just overall in the NFL, what's going on. Preseason is almost here. We got training camps, going on. But the big thing we have to talk about that everybody's talking about in the sports industry, I mean, after that Bucks win, I mean, is everybody talking about Aaron Rodgers winning a ring as a
Yeah.
co-owner of the Bucks?
No shit. He's
the
got
Aaron
both an
Rod- Yeah, he's got
NFL
a.
and an NBA ring now.
That's crazy, man. I wish I was a co-owner of an
Oh,
NBA team. That's
I
pretty
know.
nuts. The big
Yeah.
thing, though, of course, is we had the set of rules on the protocol of COVID thing of. We know last year the NFL really had to reschedule a ton of games. You guys got kind of screwed over a little bit too.
We did. Yeah,
A lot last year.
that was with the Tennessee Titans. I remember that was a big one. Like they postponed that game really late. They gave them like all of a sudden their bye week out of nowhere. It pissed off the players really bad. Yeah.
The having to move the bye week backwards and
Mhm.
forwards, and as for the Raiders, John Gruden couldn't fucking keep his mask on. I don't
Yeah.
know how hard it is to not keep. God damn it, dude! And then also we had, it was a charity event when Waller and Derek was at a charity event, and then they had pictures, and it showcased that they weren't wearing really masks. So
Oh,
we
really?
got a big, yeah, we got a big old fine on that one. So I mean, COVID it reared its ugly face last year. I was questioning whether the season would even last, and it did,
Yeah.
and we got a Super Bowl. This time around, the NFL says, "Nah, we ain't playing around no more." So a lot of people are freaking out because they're. I see this as they're really, for me. I see this as they're trying to get these players to get vaccinated.
Yeah.
And before we continue this, I'm saying if you want to get vaccinated, you can get vaccinated. If you don't want to get vaccinated, you don't have to get vaccinated. That's how I feel. That's how I feel about the whole thing. I'm not vaccinated. I just feel like, for me, I want to give it time to see, what's the longevity of it. That's how I feel about it. It's just, but people who get vaccinated, all power to you. It's your choice. I believe in this country you should have a choice. Just like I believe the players should have a choice. But there's a lot of pressure on them now with this. But Chase, I'm gonna say this, okay? A lot of people are not reading really into it. So it's not like, first of all, we don't know if we're going to have another mess on our hands like last year. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of the population is mostly vaccinated. A lot of the Delta virus is what we're all kind of talking about. The cases are rising from the unvaccinated, but you can still get the virus if you're vaccinated. You can still get it. But the thing is, we don't know what this year's going to come to be. We don't know if it's going to be another mess like last year. What the NFL is saying is that if an outbreak does occur, and they trace it from the one player, they do the same protocols. They isolate the player for like 10 days. They kind of trace who the player was around. This is like what they're saying is this is like the last thing that they want to do, because the consequences is you forfeit the game. The player gets fucking fined. He gets like a $75,000 fine
Yeah.
or something like that. And then both teams don't get paid. Both teams, not just one team, not just their team. Both teams don't get paid for the forfeit game. But
Wow.
this is like the absolute like last chance of it. It does state that they said that they'll do all in their power to try to reschedule. But if they can't reschedule the game due to an outbreak, and that's the key word, outbreak. It could just be one individual. So let's say Deandre Hopkins, who's come out and tweeted, right?
Yeah.
Who's the one that's been stirring the pot. Let's say he gets COVID,
Yeah.
and they isolate him, and most of the team is fine. They test him. That game still can go on. What they're saying is an outbreak. So where half the team, like last year, can't go because they're positive or maybe testing's not fast enough.
No.
And they look after that, they will look to try to reschedule it, just like they did kind of last year. But if they can't do that, and the game has to be forfeit, and that's a big you don't want that. You absolutely don't want that. So that's on DeAndre Hopkins, right?
Yeah.
The real question is, okay, so what about vaccinated people or vaccinated players who get it?
Mm-hmm.
That's the other key question on this. But how I see it is, yes, they're putting pressure on the players to get vaccinated, in my opinion. And it's all about opinions here. It's all about what we think of what's going on here. But it just really depends on the season. If there is a huge outbreak, we still don't really know. The Delta virus is kind of really going on, but Jalen Ramsey has come out and stated, he's known people that are fully vaccinated and they got COVID. So he's kind of like, he believes in choice. He's like, oh, you either can or can't. If a teammate of his were to go down, like got COVID and cost everybody the game or whatever, he said he'd show him love. He's like, that's not on him. That's okay. I show him love. It's all love. And then you also have, I think, Cole Beasley saying he doesn't want to get vaccinated. So there's going to be a split. There's going to be a lot. I think there's like mostly all the teams are like the Raiders. The Raiders, the whole coaching staff is vaccinated. They're almost there at like a 70%, I believe, of the team in general out of the roster. So they're doing pretty good. The only teams that are not really vaccinated are the Washington football team, the Arizona Cardinals, the Indianapolis Colts, and there was one other team I couldn't remember. So what is your thoughts on all this, Chase? Like how do you view, because I think this is going to draw a lot of talk. It's sports seems to always go political, man. It's always political now. What do you think, man? What do you think about this whole situation?
Yeah, it's always political. I mean, sports is going very political in the last couple of years, and this COVID vaccine thing, of course, it really affects sports. Like, it's a big deal. If they want to have sports, they have to discuss it. These players have to talk about it because it's such a big deal. Like, this is the difference between them playing and them not, and so it has to be talked about. It's very important that they talk about it and keep the discussion going and try to work out the best way to play this season without having to worry about people contracting COVID, and the best way to keep the season going. So no matter what, if you're bothered by political talks, at the end of the day, COVID needs to be discussed because if we want a season to go, it needs to be talked about. And I mean, it is crazy. I do think the NFL they're definitely trying everything in their power to force teams into vaccinating and players into vaccinating. It's definitely a lot more threatening towards players who don't want to get vaccinated. And I'm like you, either or, like, if you want to get vaccinated, if you don't. I'm not vaccinated myself because I'm just not in a point in my life where I feel like I need to be. I'm not around that many people and stuff like that. And it's just not something I've gone out to do yet. But, I have nothing against anyone who wants to get vaccinated. My parents and stuff are vaccinated. And I am very surprised, though, on seeing how many players have come out in defense of non-vaccinated people. I thought, that players would really come out and be like, you're going to hurt the team if you're not vaccinated. You're going to, like, they were going to join on forcing players to vaccinate. Most of the league is vaccinated. I think they said around like 75%, 73% of the league is vaccinated.
At least 75%.
Yeah.
5% of the league is vaccinated. I was kind of tripping out that the whole Raiders coaching staff is all vaccinated.
That is true. Yeah.
Nevada is a spot though that I feel like you need, like, I don't want to say you need, but like
Las Vegas in particular, you need it.
Yeah, the hot spots. You feel, I guess you would feel more comfortable getting vaccinated because you're like, this is such a big hotspot and everybody seems to be, cases. The biggest cases right now for the Delta virus is in Florida. I believe really? Florida is always the one spot.
But they also never care.
Exactly.
They're winning a bunch of championships over there in Florida, and they're just throwing parties and stuff. And yeah. when it comes to the Steelers too, they are one of the 10 teams over the 85% mark. They've come out and I think stated that they believe they are the most vaccinated team in the league, which is not surprising because last year they were very the team was very hardcore on keeping each other accountable and not doing things that contract COVID and going out and about. Like they were the team, they were always pissed because other teams were breaking out and their games were getting screwed over. And they were like, we're doing so good at this. Why is other teams are screwing us over and stuff? So I'm not surprised that the Steelers have gone out and vaccinated very well. I mean, it is interesting, like I said, to see these players come out and talk about defend these people who are anti-vax. Like Cole Beasley, when he came out and said I'm anti-vax and stuff, he kind of became one of the faces of it. And I thought people were going to rag on him and bring him down, and it really didn't happen that way. I do know Cole Beasley. Like I was reading something that he is this could risk hurt him a little bit because he's kind of on the bubble of whether or not he's going to stay on the team or if they're going to cut him. But I wonder if that's going to affect anything.
It's going to be interesting because one of the biggest stars this is why we're talking about it, because Deandre Hopkins. Yeah. DeAndre Hopkins, he tweeted, I never thought I would say this, but being in a position to hurt my team because I don't want to partake in the vaccine is making me question my future in the NFL. He deleted the tweet, and then he tweeted freedom ? And then he later tweeted 9 more years left in me. By the way, I got about nine more years in me. Y'all have a good day. He is threatening to retire. This is DeAndre Hopkins, man. Yeah. This is DeAndre had a big year last year. He was with the Cardinals. Of course, he was with the Texans, but with the Cardinals, he's blew up a little bit more. They didn't make the playoffs though, which is kind of shocking.
But they're more set. They're more set to make the playoffs this year too. Like it's a big season going forward for them.
Yeah, they got they got all the momentum. I guess the momentum from last year. They have a lot of pieces together. What's their quarterback's name? I always forget it.
Kyle Murray.
Kyle Murray, yes. I had Kyle Murray on my fantasy team. He was doing wonders for me for a while.
He was great.
And then, then you got Jalen Ramsey. He was, everybody knows Jalen. He's not afraid to speak his mind. I am interested to see who comes out more because this is the first day. Beasley did it, but then once the NFL sent this memo to all the teams, you're gonna see a ton of people, a ton of players now have to talk about this.
Yeah.
So it's, I think Jerry Jones spoke about this too a little bit back in not too long ago. I think he, I forgot what he said, but I think Jerry Jones spoke a little bit about it. I just think it's, so this is, to me, this is pressuring them a little bit, or pressuring them, but it's kind of crazy to think okay, but we don't know what's going to happen. Nobody knows what's going to happen once the season starts. We do have a majority of players, like you said, 75% of the NFL are vaccinated. Now we got what? We have fans in the seats now, going to be full capacity.
I got my tickets.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know. It just really, I guess, depends on where we go. I think it always depends. I knew that we would have to see the summer and see how the cases are. Yeah. A lot of people, all the tiers are gone. We're relaxing. I don't know how many people, including myself, went to Vegas. Everybody said once everything's lifted, we're going to Vegas, baby. Even though Vegas had a no mask mandate, or didn't have a mask mandate over there. Yeah. So. And then we're starting to see it. It's not as, I don't know the exact numbers, but I don't think it's there as bad as, when the pandemic started, of course. Yeah. But it's, we have a new variant, the Delta, and it's just going to be interesting to see which players come out and either defend the vaccine or don't defend it. But I think all in all, the NFL, what I think a lot of players are going to be defensive about is the NFL really pressuring them to do it, and it kind of seems like they don't have a choice and they have to do it just for the team.
Yeah, I'm curious to see which players will come out and talk. I know, you usually get J.J. Watt to say something during these kind of things. You usually get, Tom Brady has been a big voice in the last year since he joined Tampa. and these kind of things. So I'm waiting to see what these big players have to say, what they want to do. It seems like a lot of players are like, hey, I'm backing my teammate and whatever they want to do. So far, I haven't seen too much being like, no, like get your vaccines if you want our teams to succeed. Because I mean, it's weird to think, what if this actually happens to where a team has to forfeit a game? Like, who will accept that? That'll be a big deal. Like, teams will be pissed. Players will be pissed.
That's why I think it's a big deal now to talk about it, because it's a big question mark. I don't see the NFL changing their mind on this.
No,
I think to implement this,
Yeah, when NFL makes their mind, they're typically pretty strong on that kind of thing. Like, this is what they're going to do, and this is how they're going to do it, and you have to accept that. Player control is not the biggest, is something that's always been kind of a joke sometimes in the NFL, and they've been trying to fight better and better on having better control. And we've seen that last year, especially with the COVID-19, players were very, very vocal, very more vocal than ever on how their team should be handling the COVID protocols and whether or not they want to be part of it or not. And so this is just more and more of players fighting back the NFL, letting them know that they are not happy with what they are choosing to do.
And I love that point, because that's exactly what's going to happen. If it happens, if there's games being forfeited, like, not just imagine more than one game being forfeited. What if there is an outbreak, but we have an outbreak like last year with the Tennessee Titans? Remember, I think Lamar Jackson had COVID, right?
The Ravens had it bad. I think we postponed that game too with the Ravens, and we had to play them still with only like RG3 and half their team gone.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, if this happens again this year, and it could still happen. Now you got more factors in there with more people. You're gonna have the whole stadium. That's more chances, I guess. You're gonna have more. They traveled? They still traveled last year. They're gonna do it again this year. But if this happens and these fines are gonna be going, the biggest thing is the win-loss column. Oh my God, man! The players, they say things right now, to say like it's all good. Wait until it happens, though. The reaction of it. You could say something, but once it happens to you, it's a whole different emotion. It's a whole different way of, you're in it. You're in this. You're like, it's not going to happen to me until it does.
Yeah.
So the players and the NFL, of course, Goodell, it's only going to get rougher. Now, they sparked it. I want to say they sparked it. It doesn't. Hopefully this shit never happens. I just want a nice, clean NFL season. I want. It was just a hell of a mess in fantasy too last year.
I'm about to say, if we start forfeiting games, it's going to make it even worse. If you're telling me I have to go like 2 weeks without my top running back because they get 2 bye weeks because they had to forfeit one game and still have a bye later, like, hell no, dude, that pissed me off.
So I mean, I know Derek Carr is probably going to speak on this. He's always the guy that kind of talks, like, he's a very honest guy. Yeah. He even said like the Tom Brady shot wasn't a jab to him; it was like you're to somebody else.
He said he'd fight him, didn't he?
Did he?
I think he said he'd fight him or something.
Tom Brady called the guy a son of a bitch, man.
No, I think Derek Carr said something like he'd fight him, which is totally out of Derek Carr's character. But it was something I saw. I was like, what
Derek Carr's, man, he's mad. He says he wants to win that trophy as a Raider. We'll see. The Raiders. So we're gonna move on from this topic because it's still early. I think the biggest thing was Deandre Hopkins. Well, let's say this. Do you think? I don't think he'll retire. He's saying all this stuff. I don't think he's gonna retire. I think he's just gonna. I don't think he's gonna get the vaccine, and I think his team's gonna support him with it. I mean, I don't think he should have to get the vaccine, but the NFL's not gonna let this go on. They're not gonna change anything. That's the rules. That's what it's gonna be. Watch. Do you think he's gonna retire?
No, I think I've seen not other players, but like people that have retired already. There's a guy, I forget his name, who it was, but he said like, "Oh, I would retire if the the NFL. I think Coach Beasley did say something on that lines that he would retire. I think it's all just them being like really pissy and being like, this is something I don't like and I don't want in my NFL. I think it's just kind of a blind threat for the most part. I mean, you never know with these guys. And this is my thought process, and I know these guys don't think about this in this way, but if I'm getting paid millions of dollars, I'm going to get myself vaccinated. If this is what they want, this is what they want. They probably already put a bunch of freaking other shit in their body that they shouldn't. But,
exactly.
So that's my
yeah. Oh, man, especially the NFL, baby. Yeah.
But these guys, they've already made their millions. So, like, if they want to make a point, they can make their point. I'm a guy that's poor and would like money like that. So, if I get stuck with a needle and get millions of dollars, fine, take it. But I think it's just him telling the NFL, like, hey, you need to change this or else I'm not, you're going to make me angry. And maybe he does, like, if they don't change something, if they continue this, like, this might just be a first threat and the next season they do something else and he'll be like, I can't do this anymore. I'm done. I don't know.
Yeah. If I'm Mark Davis, I'm like, I'm going to every player. I'm like, are you sure you don't want to get vaccinated?
Yeah.
Like, we live in Vegas, baby. No. I don't know. It's a definitely, it's crazy, man. Politics is just, it's either you stand together or you're divided on it. It's never, but it's never easy. It's never like, it seems like there's always heated moments when you get into the thick of it. I don't, let me ask you this, because I have noticed, since we're into the kind of a little bit of the politic game.
Yeah.
The NFL has been, the viewership has gone down lately. The NBA is a prime example of the viewership going way down. Even though I enjoyed the Suns and Bucks series.
Yeah.
Congratulations to the Bucks. Giannis deserves the hell out of that ring.
100%. Giannis is a beast.
If you haven't seen the video with Giannis and Chick-fil-A,
I've seen it.
So great. How do you not like the guy, man?
Oh, he's so lovable.
The fan got to touch the trophy.
Yeah.
It's like, hurry up. Like, he got 50 nuggets for his 50-point game. I think the NBA, the viewership has gone down. I think, one, because LeBron is always in the goddamn finals or Golden State.
Yeah.
It gets boring. It's like seeing Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. You're just tired of it. You just want to see him lose, or Patriots, right?
Yeah.
Two was a lot of the political BLM movement. They really had that going for a little bit. A lot of people got turned off on it. They just really kind of wanted to watch basketball.
Yeah.
The NFL had the issue of players kneeing. There's the political thing on there. Now we got the vaccine thing. Do you think the NFL's viewership is going to continue to go down because of the political, like this, the vaccine stuff, and then just all this stuff? Do you think the viewership still goes down? It's still number one. The NFL is still the mega of all.
The hard thing with the NFL is the NFL is so far ahead of every other sports league in America. It's just ridiculous. And so them losing viewerships, like, I think they will continue as long as they do continue this political route that they've gone on. And because you're just going to turn people off. Some people just don't want politics in their sports. And that's, again, their choice. I don't totally agree with everything every NFL player or sports player said. Just because they're a big deal and I like them and I like them as a player or even as a person, I don't agree with what they say. I still love football, though. I respect their opinion. And so, like, there's people like me who, like, will disagree and still watch it, though, and because I love NFL football so much. And I think there's, like I said, the NFL is just too big to where I don't think it's going to affect it much. The NBA has got hit hard because they're way more player focused than the NFL is. Like, their stars control the NBA. What LeBron and Giannis and I want to say Steph Curry, like, what these guys say and do is what the NBA is and what the NBA's picture is. And it's partly because they're small, they're like not as many players in the NBA and stuff, and that's probably why. And they're so controlled by the players that if you don't like the players that are in control of the NBA right now, you're going to be totally turned off. If you don't like their opinion on political political things and stuff like that, you're not going to be interested in watching the NBA. And that's just, I mean, I have a hard time with it sometimes. I've tried to, I'm not the biggest NBA guy, but I grew up a Lakers fan. I loved Kobe Bryant, and I'm not a LeBron guy. I've never been a fan of him as a person. So it makes it hard for me to watch my Lakers, even though he won us a championship and I was happy. But I'm like, I don't enjoy watching it. Like, he's just,
especially after Space Jam 2 as well.
yeah. I watched bits and pieces of it. It's not good. And so like it does make it hard because I'm not beside like Giannis is my new favorite player. Him, Devin Booker. Like I love seeing these guys take
the
over
newer
the
stars
league.
are the future, man. You see
They
it.
are.
You
Trae
see
Young.
it. The difference is.
I want them to take over, man, because I like them a lot. I like their personalities, and I think they can help try to. But I mean, let's think about this right now. The NBA viewership for Game 1, I believe, had less viewers than the Steelers-Raven game that was on a Wednesday in the middle of the week this season.
How nuts is that? How
Like
nuts is on a Wednesday?
On like a 1 p.m. schedule, like when everyone was at work. It still got more viewership than Game 1 of the NBA Finals.
Well,
like,
you knocked it over the head. You knocked it over the head, though.
NFL and NBA.
You said individual stars run the NBA.
Yes.
So DeAndre Hopkins stating his case or talking about his concern and the vaccination, Jalen Ramsey, Cole Beasley, it's all good. Because what is the NFL? It's a legit team sport.
Yeah, there's a lot of players.
That you have superstars on your team, but that's not the team. You're rooting. So let's say the Raiders, right? And Derek Carr was to say the same thing. Okay, he could say that, but I'm not focused on Derek Carr. I'm focused on the team getting to the playoffs. And exactly. Yes, he's drawing more attention to me. You had your T.O.s back in the day, Ocho Cincos, even Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey is the biggest shit talker and the biggest headache of the NFL. Yet this dude, it doesn't matter because the Rams still winning. Jacksonville still won. Yeah. It didn't matter. It's their opinion. It's kind of like a movie star, right? You love their movies, you go watch their movies, and then outside of it, they're political or they're talking. You're like, I don't give a shit. I just like your movies. Terminator 5, baby. Let's do it. Arnold. Yeah. That's what it is. So the NBA, I think the viewership is going to go down in the NFL, but you're absolutely right, Chase. They're too big. They're Disney big, where they can have failed movies, box office bombs, but yet they're still going to be okay because they own a lot of property, and they.
Yeah, and I'll say this: me and my stepdad were both big football fans. I'm a Steelers fan; he's a Rams fan, and we have almost everyone around us that all of his friends and stuff like that. They're all cops and everything. And they're all cop friends. All of them have stopped watching NFL. All of them have been like, we're not doing it really anymore. We're done with it because of the political stuff. And me and him, even with like similar political ideals as them, me and him are both like, we really just like watching football. If these players want to talk about their thing, that's their thing. We still want to watch football. We love our teams. We've watched them for years. We're not going to stop watching them now.
Because it doesn't affect the game. It doesn't affect the game at all.
The game is still the game.
The football is the most competitive sport. I mean, it's one of the most competitive sport, but it's different. There's been so many great games last year that went down the wire. It's just the momentum. It's the here and the now. It's not what's outside of the arena. It's what's inside of it. Yeah. So, and then now that you have the fans coming back, it just gets more intense. So, yeah, that's the difference between losing viewership because of one thing and losing viewership of another. It's just a two different kind of sports, and the NBA relies on those superstars. Hopefully, I am excited to see those future stars in the NBA, though. After the playoff, I think the playoffs were fantastic this year. Yeah. It's just, unfortunately, nobody really watched.
I know. It was definitely the best NBA playoffs in years, and no one cared.
Oh, one of the best finals, too. I was actually hoping the Suns would get it to the Game 7. I wanted CP3 to win the ring, but after he left without shaking anybody's hands, like, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
So all right, so let's move on. We talked a little bit of politics here. There's ugliness going on at Green Bay right now. I'll let you know right now. If the Raiders were to trade Carr for Aaron Rodgers, I'd take that trade.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
instantly makes us a Super Bowl contender. I not
Aaron,
saying that Carr can't, but it's the bad man Aaron Rodgers, you know.
yeah.
So Aaron Rodgers, it was reported that he turned down to become the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. He turned it down. He turned it down, and the reports are saying it's not really necessarily about the money. It's about the front office in Green Bay. Chase, what the hell is going on, dude? He's the MVP of the league. And I get why he's mad with the Jordan Love pick, losing one of his top, one of the guys he really liked, a wide receiver. It just seems a little dysfunctional. And then, of course, last year's playoffs, the decision, to not even go for it. He cost him that game too, though. I will say Aaron Rodgers is
Yeah.
as fault as the coaching decision as well. But what is going on over there in Green Bay? Do you think Aaron Rodgers is gone? You think he's not coming into Green Bay for one more season?
I mean, right now at how close we are to training camp, like this, 3 teams have already started training camps. The Steelers did today, and like the Packers, I think are due for training camp next week. I think where we're at, I think they're gonna have to figure something out for this season. Either he will sit out or he will play, and I don't think he's gonna get traded right now. Because I don't think the Packers are willing to trade him. This is such a crazy thing. Like
MVP last
Yeah.
year. He
How do you
wasn't
trade
even
that?
the fucking Madden 22 cover.
No, well, yeah, because but you don't know what to put him in. You put him in
Fucking
a
Tampa
Packers jersey,
Bay and Mahomes wasn't on it.
and they called it the MVP edition, like with Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady. And it's like
That's how you know Madden's garbage. Don't buy the goddamn game. It's gonna be the
I
same
hate Madden.
shit. It's gonna be the same shit.
Madden is terrible, but it's such a I've been following it so closely, and we have no idea what the hell is going on. I watched the entirety of the match when him and Tom Brady on there, and like I've watched all like the interviews he's done, and he will not give a word of what he's thinking in his mind. We know for sure he's pissed. We know for sure he loves his coach. He loves his teammates. He likes Jordan Love.
Does he love his coach though?
I think so. I think when he because he said that on the interview with that one guy retiring. And I think when he said that, I think he truly means it. When Aaron Rodgers speaks, he's saying something. He's very smart. He knows what he's saying. He didn't point out the front office. He didn't point out that he loved them. It has to do with the GM and the front office. Like that has to be it. He knows he's got a good coach because Matt LaFleur has taken him to 2 NFC championships. Like that's a good coach, despite like the decisions he might have made. He understands he has a good young coach in him.
I always said it's a defense a lot of times for the Packers. The Packers never have a top 5 defense. Never.
Now they're
they
making
had a fucking
moves.
Bears defense.
Yeah.
Unstoppable.
Now they're making moves to where people think they could be that in the next season, but it's still like it's been years of bad defense. Never given him a star player like Devontae Adams has come into his lap, and Aaron Jones kind of has, but they've never gone out of their way to give him someone else.
Well, Aaron Jones has to be top 5 wide receiver, right? This dude's a beast.
I mean running back.
Running back.
Talking about Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams. I'm sorry, Devontae Adams. Yeah, he has to be top 5.
In arguments, he's number 1. Like people would argue him being the best, and so like he has weapons, but they've never gone out to give him weapons. They've never, and it seems like he probably has asked for multiple times what he wants. Like he wanted Jordy Nelson and stuff like that to come back, and they refuse. They won't listen to him. They will not listen to anything he has to say. And this is clear. Like when you look at Aaron Rodgers, he's looking around. He sees Tom Brady in Tampa getting whatever the hell he wants. He's seeing Patrick Mahomes, where the team is building around Patrick to give him the things he needs. He has the weapons, and his offensive line was bad. What are we going to do? We're going to go out and get you a brand new offensive line this offseason.
Now with Mahomes, though, it was more of the organization and Andy Reid.
Yeah,
I'm saying like seeing them as. See, I think every damn star now, every fucking quarterback, like Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers, they see Tom Brady pounding his little way over there in Tampa Bay saying, I want Antonio Brown. We're going to win a Super Bowl. Listen, yes, you need to listen to the guy who's playing on the field. You need to hear his insight, and you need to really take consideration of what he wants and what he needs, because he has a good... To me, a team is like a movie,
Yeah.
a nice blockbuster movie. You get your director, you get your producer, which is the GM, you have your star. It's a collaborative production. This
Yeah.
is what makes a great movie to a terrible movie like Fan Four Stick, right?
Yeah.
That's the problem with the players today is they don't see that. They see that. I know they probably get brushed away a lot of their ideas. I think both sides need to really think, like really come together. But the NFL's been here forever,
Yeah.
and formulas seem to work. You have your job. You have your job. I'll listen to what you have to say, but I don't want to go to a future NFL where Star wants to walk just because he's not getting his way. You know, they're in a position for a reason, but I do believe there is collaboration, and maybe I guess if you listen to the players a little bit more, maybe you get that chance for a little bit more rings on your finger. I don't know. Tom Brady's a different case because Tampa Bay, what did they have to lose? They didn't have to lose. They just said, fuck it, why not? You know, we have nothing to lose. Packers are a little bit in a different situation. They have a team, they just need different pieces to the puzzle. If Aaron Rodgers leaves that team, he's leaving. Yes, he makes them 1,000 times better, but I could see the Packers. They're only 2 plays away from going to the Super Bowl. Last year, so it's nuts. It's nuts to me, especially with Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, it's the. I guess it's the GM. It's the front office, man.
Yeah,
I guess so.
For me, like these players, there's a lot. Yeah, you're right on the players, like trying to get to where like, oh, they think because they're really good that they get to have a say or control and whatnot, and they're trying more and more these days to gain more power. These star players, but I think if anyone has earned it, it's Aaron Rodgers. Like Aaron Rodgers is probably like Tom Brady is the GOAT, but Aaron Rodgers is the best throwing quarterback in the NFL. Like what he does with his arm is insane. The throws he makes is absolutely crazy. And for him to be there for so many years, he's been with the Packers for so many years, and to only have that one Super Bowl, he's got to be pissed because he knows they can be better. And they're doing things that he completely disagrees with, like going out and drafting a quarterback in the first round, trading up for him when they were just a few plays away from a Super Bowl, is something that should piss everybody off. Like you just need 1 or 2 more things. You're right. That's all the team needs is just 1 or 2 more things, and they're in a Super Bowl.
Well, it's crazy because the Packers always need 1 or 2 more things. They just never get it right.
They never do. And
I
mean, a lot of people,
injuries too.
Yeah. But I'll also say this, like we've seen the Packers without Aaron Rodgers, like him being injured. A lot of times without Aaron Rodgers, they're no better than like the freaking Jets. Like a lot of times they look god awful without Aaron Rodgers, and how important. So he's like, it's shown how important he is to that team. And so anyone who has told me, or I've heard anyone say, I have like 2 Green Bay Packers fans that I'm in a group chat with, and one of them's like, we need Aaron Rodgers, like he's the guy, and the other one's telling me like, no, he's a crybaby, he's a diva, he's this and that. I'm like, I don't care what he is, dude. He is the only chance of you getting to that Super Bowl next season. I don't know.
Both.
I mean,
and that's fine.
Yeah.
He can be both. That's fine with me. Like he could be a diva, but you know, sometimes you gotta. You could be a diva, but if your play is, if you could walk the walk and talk the talk, it don't fucking matter on the field.
Yeah,
you know.
And Aaron Rodgers, that guy, like he can say what he wants and do what he wants because he's been in the league for years and he's been the best in the league for years.
So this is another situation like Peyton Manning with the Indianapolis Colts. He went to the Broncos, finished his career in the Broncos. Aaron Rodgers has a chance like that. There is a lot of reports saying he might go to the Broncos.
That's the biggest rumor, and I think it's one of the best teams for him to go to.
It fucking sucks because he's in our division.
Imagine you have to play against Justin
Mahomes,
Mahomes, and
Aaron Rodgers, and you got Herbert, who's a stud.
He's a stud.
We'll see how his second season goes, but I knew Herbert was going to be good.
Yeah.
When I saw Hard Knocks and he was just drilling those those accurate passes, dude.
He's a baller. Y'all in trouble.
That's if Aaron goes to the Broncos. Broncos, I think, they're a good team, but I don't think they're the championship team. You have Von Miller and his issues, and he's older. You have Judy,
Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton. He was an ACL tear last year, but Cortland Sutton I was high on in fantasy last year before he got hurt.
ACL tear, though.
Players come back from that so much easier nowadays, though.
We'll see.
They're playing young player. Like, that was only his second season. He's a young player. He'll come back.
I'm not convinced with Jeudy yet because that dude seems like, I don't know. It doesn't seem like he's really motivated a lot. Yeah. I think Lamb is better, honestly.
I will say this. I think the Broncos are one of the best teams for him to get traded to for two reasons. Not only for him, but for the Packers. The Packers don't want him in the NFC, so they're going to send him to the AFC. If they're going to send him anywhere, he's going to the AFC. There's not a ton of market in the AFC for quarterbacks. I think like Miami's a great. If he can go to Miami, Super Bowl team. So Miami's got a team around him. They just don't have the quarterback. They're building. They're doing really good building. They got some coaching. I think if they trade away, what's their quarterback? They get Tua. If they give Tua and a lot of they have a lot to trade for. So I think that might actually be the best scenario for both Aaron Rodgers and the Packers because they can get themselves a young quarterback. They can get themselves a lot of draft picks, and Aaron Rodgers will go to a team he can win with in a division that doesn't have Patrick Mahomes. So I think that might be the best scenario. Denver is one of the better teams though too because they have the wide receivers. They do have a defense, even with Von Miller lowered it. They have. I have seen a thing where someone said if he gets traded to the Raiders, he should deny that immediately and try to fight that all he can. And
he wants to go to the Raiders. He said that was one of his teams he would want to go to.
And I mean, I don't know why. Maybe, but they do have the offense. They'll have the offense around him.
Okay, so here I'm going to tell you. This is a Raider podcast too, so I'm going to tell you why. A lot of people. You're a Laker fan, okay? Yeah. Look at the lineup with the Lakers. This is after Shaq and Kobe, right? Look at all their players. Nobody thought that was a talented team until they got Gasol. They got a couple pieces. They got Meta World Peace. The Raiders are kind of like a Laker team, where they got a couple pieces. They got a very talented team. They just need leadership. Kobe had leadership. Kobe had that drive, and then they got a coach, Phil Jackson, in there, and they went back. They went back to back. The Raiders are like that. The Raiders are like a Laker team that was rebuilding, and they have all the pieces to go far. They just maybe need one more like that, like we were talking about, pieces to the puzzle, right?
Yeah.
So if Aaron Rodgers, talented team, right? Raiders. Always a game or two away from making the playoffs. With the roster they have, they made moves on defense. Look at our ranking on defense. It's not the offense, it's the defense. The defense is god-awful for terrible. Many years.
The offense is really good. He'll like having that offense. Josh Jacobson's backfield.
So 1 or 2 games away from the playoffs for 3 straight years. 2 straight years, I should say. So bringing Aaron Rodgers automatically rises up, just like any other team, just like the Lakers, right? Easy the Lakers got a couple pieces, boom, championship caliber. So that's why I think Aaron Rodgers is very intrigued. That's why Tampa Bay was the worst on offense. But what happened? Brady went over there, brought a couple people along, got Gronk. Let's say Antonio Brown didn't really do shit, but he got Gronk in there. Now they're the champions. Now they're the champions. So to me, Aaron Rodgers is probably looking at the Raiders like that. Are we going to win the Super Bowl year 1 with him?
No.
Probably not. Maybe the next year. But it's a better chance than, no chance at all. So he has possibilities. I do think he would probably go with the Broncos more because the Broncos fucking front office just seems to be able to get these guys, and they have a hard on for Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. Hard on. They're like, baby, come here.
Well, when they've been dealing with Drew Lock for the last season, like the quarterbacks they've gone through since Peyton have left, like they want it bad.
Yeah, Raiders never really we didn't care about the Broncos last year. We care about the Chargers, obviously. Yeah. Down to the wire on those games. So, I mean, if it was me though, I know the front office and Green Bay is trying everything in their power. This is kind of like a LeBron and Cleveland thing. They want Aaron Rodgers to stay.
Yeah.
And I would really love for Aaron Rodgers to stay in Green Bay. I think I want to see a player retire with the team that's been there, for all his career. And I want to see
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers retire with Green Bay. It's never that's so unlikely nowadays.
Yeah.
But I would love to see it. I mean, I thought J.J. Watt would.
Yeah.
That didn't happen.
I'm glad he left. Thank God.
Yeah, he needed to leave though. That's a different. You see, that's a different case. The Texans are a goddamn mess.
They're garbage. One of the worst teams I've ever probably going into a season ever.
Yeah, so I don't. Ian says free Rogers. Listen, man. Like I wouldn't blame Rogers for wanting to go.
Yeah.
I just think it's for Green Bay, man. That'd be just such a heartbreak, bro.
It's going to destroy. I mean, it's going to. I mean, that NFC North, those teams, man, Minnesota, Detroit, and Chicago are just on the edge of their seats. If they can get Aaron Rodgers out of their division, man, it's easy. And also, it makes like Tom Brady, man. He's going to be sent over to the AFC. So Tom Brady's like clear shot to the Super Bowl. That's just what all he sees, man. He's just like clear shot to the Super Bowl. Because his biggest threat would be out of there. And so it's crazy to think. I think he's going to be gone. I don't know if it's going to be this offseason. I see the chance of him playing one more season.
Me too.
And going
at least
out.
one more.
At least one more. And then the season after being like, all right, this is where we need to split. This is where we need to part our ways. And I just don't feel like he's going to – because if he's turned down two more years added to his contract. So he's got 3 more years. They were trying to add 2 and make him the highest paid player ever. And he said no to that. And so it's clearly not about the money. And if he's willing to say no to that big of money, he's definitely willing to walk. He's definitely willing to go to another team. I think at this point, it's got to be almost near impossible to fix, but maybe not improbable. I don't know, impossible. Like, I don't know what I'm trying to say there, but I just think he will play one more season. I think it's about the time where it's too late now where I think he's going to give it one more go. But I think, I don't know. I like the idea of seeing him on another team. I always get excited seeing players move a little bit because a new dynamic to the NFL. We see teams like the Bucks all of a sudden become a Super Bowl team within one season. We see things that we just don't see. So it'll make it more exciting. As a Steeler fan, I don't like it because we already had to deal with Patrick Mahomes to get to the Super Bowl and Justin Herbert and whatever else what's going to come our way, Baker Mayfield, Lamar Jackson. The AFC has too many damn quarterbacks we need to stop. So I don't want to see another one. So,
and Aaron Rodgers still's got it, man. He still got it.
Oh, he just won MVP and he's 36, 37?
Yeah, he will decline though. They eventually decline. Tom Brady will eventually decline. Peyton Manning declined.
Everyone declines. I mean, but like Tom Brady's 43 and he still hasn't really hit. I mean, he's kind of declined, but not in a bad way.
The deep ball's not there.
Deep ball's not there.
Not there.
Yeah. So like, how long will it be till Aaron Rodgers loses that? Like he can still probably go another 5 or 6 years before we even see that.
Depending on the line, man. What Tom had was he's good at just laying down.
Yeah.
And then the offensive line. So we'll see. It depends on where Rodgers goes in that offensive line. Does Broncos really have a good offensive line? If I was anybody, I would have been the Colts. And why would you go after Wentz?
I know.
Rodgers, dude. That's the perfect team, dude.
I know. And I mean, the Colts are so close. Like their roster, Super Bowl. Their roster is such a Super Bowl roster. They're so good at drafting. I mean, Carson Wentz isn't for Carson Wentz, it was the best spot because his coach was there. The coach he loves was there. They're really well built, of course. Like this was a team. But if he's going to come back and be the Carson Wentz that he was a few years ago, which I like Carson Wentz, I'd like to see him come back. The Colts were a best fit for him. And the Colts saw like, hey, we know him. Our coach knows him. We like him. We think we can be the team to fix him and bring him back. They probably didn't even know that Aaron Rodgers was available at the time, like fully, because this didn't come out until the draft that we knew that, hey, this guy wants out. And everyone's like,
they're like, oh, fuck, we got Wentz. Damn it.
The biggest mistake they made was not making a harder push for Matthew Stafford, which I think they still did. He's going to crush it.
I don't think so.
Dude, he is the most underrated, under the radar quarterback in NFL history. I
think he's the most overrated.
No, dude, he is so good, and it's ridiculous that he's going to crush it.
He's the Brett Favre of the new generation, man.
No. Dude,
throwing those picks, baby.
No. The Rams made an improvement at quarterback. No matter how you look at it, and the Rams were already a good team. They made an improvement at quarterback. Matthew Stafford's got the weapons now. He's gonna have a season. I believe it fully in Matthew Stafford.
Just watch. The Rams are a nightmare team because their contracts and their fucking draft
in
picks.
a few years, they're going to be dog shit. They're going to be gone.
Done.
Gone. But
that new stadium having depressing seasons for a long time.
All those players, no draft picks, like all those players' contracts are going to come back to bite them. But hey, you should listen to, like I told you should listen to that Sean McVay podcast that they did. 10 episodes of talking to 10 different coaches in the NFL, dude. Funniest shit ever. He talks to the Niners head coach, Kyle Shanahan.
Kyle Shanahan, yeah.
They're good buddies, and Kyle was hardcore after. Was it Kyle Shanahan? Yeah, was it after Matthew Stafford, and they were in the Caribbeans or to get like
which
they were
is
in a hotel.
Up. Jimmy Garoppolo is still on the team, dude.
They made it clear they're willing to get rid of him, and they said it's not because of him; it's because of the injuries that they're trying to get someone else, you know. And they made it clear to him, and most likely he'll be moved off in a year or two when Trey Lance is ready. But like,
if that's the most like bullshit answer, like it's not you, baby, it's me.
Yeah,
you know.
But if you, yeah, no, 100%. But if you listen to that podcast, like when Sean McVay talks of Matthew Stafford, this dude is excited. He, as a coach, like, and Kyle Shanahan talks about it in their podcast of how much he loves Matthew Stafford and watching him play. Like, I think Sean McVay is going to have himself a good run at the Super Bowl in the next year or two before all these contracts.
Matthew Stafford will never win a Super Bowl.
You wait. It could happen. I'm telling you what now.
Will never win a Super Bowl. The Rams.
You wait and see.
Are not. They might make it back, but they will never win it. They had their chance. They blew it.
First of all,
they're a mess.
If you make a Super Bowl, you can win the Super Bowl.
You know how many Eagles are on that goddamn team? It's all about chemistry too. Sometimes it's all about chemistry.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay just was, and it's all about momentum. Fucking Tampa Bay was turning it up at the last half. You know,
it is moment. Yeah. We'll see. I want to bring this up. Let's switch a little bit, but also this has to do with the podcast. The last episode of the podcast, they talked to Mike Tomlin, and listening to Mike Tomlin speak, dude, makes me want to run through a freaking wall. Like
Mike Tomlin, I have respect for, man.
He is one of the best coaches to ever listen to. He doesn't talk too much about the season. He talked more to bullshits about stories. They're funny as hell, like stories with this other guy and like the coaching things they've done in the past, like him with Tampa and stuff. But listening to him talk got me super excited for the Steelers season. Like, I am stoked. A lot of people are against us. People think we're down and out. But man, like when Mike Tomlin was speaking in this podcast, what he said was, if you want to be a coach in the NFL, you have to be optimistic every single season. And Mike Tomlin no matter what team he's got, he always finds a way to win. He always finds a way to pull through. He's never had a losing season. So does Bill Cowher.
How many rings does he have?
Bill Cowher has one, same as Mike Tomlin.
Exactly. You could be the winningest coach, but doesn't mean you're going to win all those rings.
He could do it though. He could, and
Mike Tomlin. Yes, you don't want to count on him. Mike Tomlin's a great coach. Like, I think John Gruden is one of our most overrated coaches. The dude, I like his plan. I like his attitude. He's an old school football guy.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'm just like, fuck, John, what the fuck are you doing, dude?
I have a hard time with John Gruden. I like him, like he's fun, but I do think his coaching style is just never, like, when you look at his record, like, he doesn't have the most impressive winning record, and like his one Super Bowl was on a team that he didn't make.
Tony Dungy.
Mm-hmm. He joined and beat a team that he knew perfectly. He beat the Raiders, which he knew the Raiders in and out. So like it's just not impressive to me. Like I was always questioning why the Raiders paid so much for him.
They paid too much. I always said that, but he has turned the culture around. I'll give him that.
Yes.
We still haven't made the playoffs since Derek Carr went down, but he's changed the culture. Like, the Raiders are more optimistic than ever, but that doesn't mean he's not overrated. I think we paid way too much for this guy, and the draft picks are questionable. The decision making on the red zone is questionable.
What is Mike Mayock doing? Like, Mike Mayock has been like the draft guy for years, and he becomes the GM of the Raiders, and he makes the biggest question mark draft picks anyone has ever seen. Like,
I think there's talent though in those draft picks. It just depends on like the player. It depends on the player, dude.
There's talent in those draft picks, but those draft picks could have been taken in the second or third round.
Yeah, exactly.
Why are they being taken so early? If you can get them later, get yourself a guy in the first round, and then get like they're so hardcore on like, oh, this is my guy. I need him. I got to get him. That they get him too early. Like you can still get that guy with.
Well, we did get Josh Jacobs. So Josh Jacobs, Max Crosby. Crosby is a beast.
Najee Harris this season.
It's gonna be interesting. Well, Mike Tomlin is a. I never disliked the guy. The guy's like he's a football Super Bowl type coach. No. Now, what I'm going to say, though, is like I said, Bill Cowher was the same way, but that doesn't automatically produce results.
No.
The only time I saw that produce results was fucking Bill Belichick, but I think it's a combination of everything.
It was a combination of him with Tom Brady and
But Tom Brady wasn't even this. That's crazy, right? Tom Brady's legacy is insane. But let's move on real quick. So Steelers picked up a free agent recently.
Yeah, they picked up Melvin. I don't know how to say it. It's not Melvin. It's not Ingram. It's Melvin. I just saw it.
Yeah, Melvin Ingram.
Yeah, Melvin Ingram. Yeah, that's how you say it. I was thinking something else for some reason. But Melvin Ingram. They pick up him and a O lineman. Melvin Ingram is not like it's not like a huge pick. It's not game changing. It's not gonna.
It's a good pickup.
But it's a great pickup for the fact that it really kind of helps this little spot that we needed. We lost Bud Dupree in free agency this year, and he was one of our top guys. And so now having him kind of gives us just a little more depth at that position because we have him and Hightower, who really stepped up last season after Bud got hurt. So even though Ingram has like declined in the last couple of years, and he was injured last year for majority of the season. He's 32 years old. He's not going to be the standout like guy that he's been in the past, but he's definitely going to be a nice player to add depth to the defense. So I was really happy to see them make that move.
Well, getting a team together, I always like a team that has a mix of both vets and younger kind of guys. To help these younger kind of guys. The vets know how to win, and they get these guys if they can get the younger guys to commit and to listen, they can get them to win too. Yeah. A lot of championship teams, every championship team, you look at the Super Bowl, look at the roster. There is guys that you didn't even know that was on there. They're like, oh shit, I didn't know he was on there. And he won a ring because, you need guys like that. Just because they're not a superstar anymore or they weren't putting out huge numbers, sometimes they make the plays that you don't think about, but is effective in the long run. Like, a third or a second and one, and they pop them, right? And they get them to stay at that one. And then they have to go another down to try to get that first down. And then the next play, your superstar gets them down. And then it's 4th and 2. So these guys, defense, offense, it depends. Because I've seen offensive guys like when Raiders picked up Nelson Aguilar, I like this guy. I know Philly didn't really like him, but look at the Super Bowl they were in. Nelson was making catches and doing what he needed. He was doing his job.
Yeah.
And I think Melvin's a good pickup because he's going to be doing his job. And if you guys do make the playoffs, that's the kind of guy you want on your team to help a lot of these guys out,
Well, yeah, and the Steelers have like arguably the scariest front seven in the NFL as it is with TJ Watt, Cameron Hayward.
So the Raiders get your ass.
Stephon Tuitt, you guys got to get like 5 or 6 more players before you.
We're talking to Atkins.
Talking to Atkins, but like you don't have a TJ Watt, you don't have a Cameron Hayward, you don't. I mean, it's pretty. Devin Bush comes back to this season.
I don't need a TJ Watt. I got Nakagwe, whatever his name is, and I got Max Crosby, baby.
Having a TJ Watt's a pretty big deal. It's like having an Aaron Darnold or Khalil Mack. Like it's
is JJ Watt better than TJ Watt?
JJ Watt in his prime.
You don't think JJ Watt now?
JJ Watt now, no. JJ Watt now, no. He's aged a little bit. He's still great. I think he's that veteran presence that you were talking about. Like That's going to be his biggest attribute and the biggest thing he gives to the Cardinals, because the Cardinals are very, very young. Now they're going to have, J.J. Watt, maybe Larry Fitzgerald. He still has – no one talks about the fact that we have no idea if Larry Fitzgerald is playing next season. He has not announced.
He hasn't?
I don't think he hasn't announced. Like he's doing all this stuff too. He's been on TV and he's like, everyone's like, are you playing or not?
Well,
like,
he's part owner of the Suns. So one of those guys were going to win a championship. Yeah.
So it's crazy.
I mean, we're in it, Chase. I mean, we're going full speed ahead. We're almost at the NFL season. We got this craziness that's happening right now, but we still got a lot of free agents kind of out there. Cam Akers is down for the Rams, and I thought he was going to do some work this year too.
He was a guy I was looking at in fantasy because I was like, man, he's going to be a beast. But shit happens. It's a bummer.
So I know this is mostly like news around the world, and we'll talk more Raiders and Steelers as we get. I think once the preseason starts and we see how our team looks, how it goes. We're going to probably have more news on this vaccination thing. More NFL players are probably going to come out and speak. Deandre Hopkins is a Cardinal, so is J.J. Watt. J.J. Watt's probably going to talk.
So is A.J. Green.
Oh, shit, that's right. A.J. Green, oh my God. Yeah. So there's going to be a lot, and I think Derek Carr's going to speak. Maybe Big Ben might. One of the Steelers are probably going to speak.
He looks good, too, right now. He went on a diet. He said they said his diet is even more extreme than Tom Brady's. He's looking slim. Injured. Probably. He's looking slim, though. Yeah, he's only had one big.
He uses that body to take on because he loves to scramble.
But he doesn't do that. He hasn't done that in the last couple seasons. They might change that a little bit. The new
he did that against the Browns. What are you talking about?
He had no choice. He had no choice.
Exactly. When he goes against a defense that's after his ass, he's going to go fall back to his ways. And he's skinny. Yeah. Good for him. Good at it, he's healthy. The rapist, but he's going to get knocked out.
Hey, man,
giving these porn stars the Roethlisberger down the corridor.
He's a married Christian man now. All right,
is he?
That's what he said. He said he don't masturbate no more because he's a Christian man. This was stated. He actually said that stuff.
Have you seen The Boys?
Yeah, I've seen The Boys.
Yeah, there's a Christian guy, the Christian head guy. He's a married Christian man. Let's just say the boys have like a little bit of it's a little hardcore over there. We'll see though. We'll see. I mean, the Raiders play the Steelers. We got this $200 bet going. Raiders.
Well, I said $100. I don't know what you're talking.
See what I mean? The confidence in me is just unparalleled.
I only have so much money.
You better start fucking making some more money.
We'll win. I mean, we'll win.
We'll see. Yeah. All right, Chase. I think we're good. We're going to stop right there. We're going to talk, probably talk more football later on, of course. Definitely talk more Raiders and Steelers only kind of topics because we're almost there, guys. I can't wait. I'm so
Steelers 2 weeks. Steelers 2 weeks. They play in the Hall of Fame game. It's not going to matter. That's like the most useless game in the world, but it's there.
No, the Pro Bowl is the most useless game.
Yeah, at least that one's kind of entertaining.
Is it though?
No.
So where can we find you on Twitch?
You can find me at Overdue Bobcat 50. I do a lot of video game stuff. I was playing Rust the last 2 days. I do this podcast. Yeah, you're the one I do these stupid podcasts with. So who's the nerd?
Yeah, that's right. Dude, I've been into wrestling so much, so you're gonna find me doing a lot of wrestling videos coming up.
Yeah, I won't help you with that. I don't know shit.
I got two people. John Cena's back. Daniel Bryan just signed for AEW. If you guys like wrestling, Becky Lynch was probably coming back in SummerSlam. If you haven't seen the Scott Steiner, I'd never seen that before. Did you watch it, Chase? The Scott Steiner math promo? You sent
it to me. I have to watch it.
Oh my god! I don't know how I've never seen it, but it's fucking hilarious. It is. I laughed for 20 minutes straight because it was so bizarre and crazy. I was like, "This is nuts," and it all checks out. So you gotta check it out. Yeah. So we got. I also got the Witcher video review coming up. Witcher season 2 is gonna be coming on December. So you can check that out on the channel. There's going to be some more reviews. I promised Sons of Anarchy videos. Those are going to be coming pretty soon. Schedule is going to be a little bit different. So upcoming, I don't know, depending on the free time I have. But definitely talking NFL. We have to talk NFL. Have been
Yeah.
That's my goal this year is to talk more NFL. Maybe do a little commentary. We'll see.
Yeah. No.
All right, man. Well, we'll see you guys later. You guys have a good one. Don't forget to subscribe. Go check out Overdue Bobcat 50 at Twitch. Like the video so you can help the algorithm on this thing.